We are live. I will just give it a few seconds to let people come on before we start. Yes. We are live. Okay, guys, welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, episode 11. Hey, Paul. Now today, hey, Letitia, today I have an amazing guest. Hey, Sam. Before we start, actually, I've just got to give a birthday shout out to Emma Chawner, who will be 29 tomorrow. So, Emma, if you're watching, happy birthday, Emma. Hey, Sam. Tonight, guys, episode 11, I've got an amazing special guest for you guys. We go back a long way. Ian Sharp, he's an actor, producer, creator and co-founder of Sharp House, which is this amazing film production company that he's going to tell us everything about. So, without further ado, guys, please share. Get as many people watching this as possible, because this is going to be an incredible show. Ian came from very humble beginnings, working class family from Scunthorpe to where he is today. You're going to get a lot out of today. He's one of my best friends. He's an incredibly inspirational guy, which is why he's on this show. So, before we start, please share this with as many people as you can. Get them on here, get them subscribing. I'm good, Emma. Thank you very much, and happy birthday for tomorrow. And now, Ian, come on in, mate. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey.
So, guys, this is Ian. So, let's have a cheers. That's the first thing we do.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
So, right. Obviously, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to start at where Ian is right now in life, in his career, family, everything, and then we're going to work backwards. So, Ian, over to you.
Okay.
Just tell people what you do, what you've got going on at the moment,
mate.
and then we'll take it from there.
Firstly, where do I look? Like, sorry, guys, this is my first kind of Facebook Live anything.
It doesn't matter. You can talk to them. You can talk to me.
Okay, so I can I'm always terrible at photos because my wife and my son, they look at the camera and I'm like this. I never know where to stare. So cheers.
If you've got any questions as well as the show goes on, if you've got any questions for Ian, just ask them and he'll answer. All right.
Exactly.
So, Ian, what's going on? Tell them what you do.
Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, I kind of wear multiple hats. So I am, like Stephen said, I'm an actor. I'm a film producer. I'm a film financier. Starting now to produce television and financing television as well, which I can go a lot more into. And aside from that, I'm obviously a father, husband. I have other businesses outside of the entertainment business. So mostly property, but I do my fair share of other endeavors. I'm also fascinated by various things, including anything from like cryptocurrency to, I don't know, you name it. So hopefully, ask away. It doesn't just have to be acting related or film, whatever. If it can be anything else, and hopefully I can contribute in some way.
Let's start with a production company, Ian. So, Ian, you created Sharp House, which is a production company. Tell us about your most recent films. Let's start with feature films first. So the most recent one that's out is A Marker, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
tell us about The Marker.
So I have a film on Netflix at the moment called The Marker, which filmed a couple of years ago now by a writer-director called Justin Edgar. So that was my third film as a producer, I should say. So basically, the Sharp House is not only a production company, it's also a finance company. So I've worked on maybe 20 films over the last 18 months, in maybe over the course of 6 or 7 years, maybe 20, 25 movies. One side of it is me hands-on, on set, producer, creative idea, and then see it all the way through to the very end. And then I can just come in and bring the money to the table, where, all I see is the finished film at the end of it. But the most recent that I was on the ground was The Marker, which hopefully if you get a chance, it's on Netflix. I'm very proud of that film and everyone that worked on it. And then some of the films recently that I've had some kind of connection to, my company has been involved in financing, which I can go into more detail if anyone's interested in how that works. That you may have seen was the Vivian Westwood documentary, which was recently in the cinemas, and I think it's just come out in the US. I think you can buy it now on DVD. That played at Sundance, so did very well for us. We have a film at the moment in the cinemas called A Northern Soul, which is a documentary based in Hull. So I'm very proud of that because I'm from that region. Yeah. What else have I got? I've got quite a few films in post-production. So we work with the BFI a lot. We work with the BBC a lot.
So what's it, for people who don't know, what's BFI?
The BFI is the British Film Institute. So they're a kind of lottery-funded, government-backed organisation that have a certain amount of money that they will deploy every year into commercial movies. So your big kind of Danny Boyle, kind of Steve McQueen, big films, all the way down to first-time, super low budget, new filmmakers. So it's an incredibly amazing organisation that we're very privileged in this country to have, actually. So I'm very grateful that we work with them a lot. So yeah.
That's awesome. So this is where Ian is right now. So like you heard there, he's built and he's continually building an empire, guys. So he has a production company which doesn't just produce films or finance films. He has a property company. He has a talent agency company. Many things. So it just goes to show, guys, you can diversify your portfolio and diversify your interests. But now, this is where it's going to get interesting. So this is where Ian is right now. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning to figure out how the thick he did it. So that's where he is now. So let's go back to the beginning. You started off, Ian, working class just like me, from a small town called Scunthorpe. Yeah. We met at Arts Ed at Drama College, so both of us started off in musical theatres, but I want you to go a bit further back. Start off with how did you get into the industry that eventually led you to where you are now?
No worries. Straight answer is girls. Cheers
to that.
Cheers, mate. No, I mean I jest, but in a way it's kind of true. I mean, no, okay, right. Where did I start? How did I start? So I'll be honest, and I guess we're going to go into this further, but I wasn't academic in any way, shape, or form. But I was
Stop there 2 seconds. That's a good point. Yeah. So Ian's just said there he wasn't academic in any way, shape, or form. You left school with 0 GCSEs, right?
Nothing, mate, nothing.
But now tell the people, how important is your education now?
It's massive. Like
reading no books at all.
No, 0 books.
What is your philosophy on reading now?
So I would say at any point I've got maybe 10, 15 books on the go. So I literally have a library now. So and that's a place where I must have easily 500, 1,000 books. I don't know. My audiobooks are massive.
You learn from the best, right?
Oh,
Readers, guys, are leaders. So it just goes to show, it doesn't matter what your background is, whether you've got like 50 A stars or nothing, you can all get to the same place, but your education never ends. But you've got to educate yourself in things that actually interest you. Ian found that. I found that. We want you guys to find it. So continue, mate.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of you guys can relate to this. You know, when you get to year 9, how old is that? Maybe 13, something like that.
13,
you get to choose, don't you, like what subjects that you want to take. At least you did in my day. And I always had an interest in films. I mean, I was obsessed with movies.
When did you start? Someone's asking.
When did I start school?
So I would
have been about 14 at the time. So I chose drama instead of like geography or whatever it was at the time. And but because I'd watched like you know, Rocky movies, Van Damme movies, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I just had all these like lines in my head. So when we did like improvisation, I just copied movies. I just quote. That's what I was good at. You know what I mean? And then I just had a natural inkling to kind of like get up and it sounds cheesy, but perform. But saying that though, at my senior school, my drama teacher, I can't remember his name. No, Mr. Stanyard. If you're watching Mr. Stanyard, he didn't even cast me in any shows or anything. He was like, "This kid's got..."
How dare you, Mr.
Yeah.
Stanyard? Look at him now.
No, exactly. Like, so I had, even at that stage, even when you're like 14, enthusiastic, I had people like go, "Whatever, you ain't gonna do stuff like that." But I just really fell in love with it, and at the same time, I was obsessed with martial arts. So that's kind of how I got really started. I was like boxing and doing martial arts, and a girl at the time called, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but she's called Lisa Cobb. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you're well. I had a big crush on her, and she said, "Oh, I do an amateur theatre stuff outside of school when they're looking for boys. Would you ever consider kind of like coming down?" And I did, and I went down because I fancied her, and I had to learn a song, which the only song I knew was from a film called Three Amigos, like literally. And the audition, believe it or not, was in a toilet in a community centre, but the acoustics were great, so I sounded amazing.
That's show business.
Yeah, that's still, I'm sure, the way it is. And I sang the song, and the guy at the time I'm still very close with now, called Paul Matthews, I hope you watch him. He said, "Look, you can play the lead," and it was Little Shop of Horrors. I never sang before in my life, never did any acting or anything like that, but I don't know, I just got this opportunity, and I just fell in love with it. And then very quickly, having no focus, no kind of goals or anything like that, I didn't have a clue, to suddenly like, wow, this is something I really love. And I then became like fanatical about it, and was doing like 20 amateur shows a year, what does that say?
Parents wouldn't let me take it any further. Rick, it was pretty much the same for me, but as you get to a certain age, if it's something that is burning inside you, you'll go do it anyway, which is exactly what we did. Ian's parents didn't want him to do that either.
They still don't understand really what I do now.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, and that on one side of it, I'm actually quite grateful for that, because growing up there were kids. And again, I'll go into this in more detail, but there were kids that did have really pushy parents, and they're not doing it now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because they lost the love of it.
Yeah.
Whereas my parents, like I say, even now, I'm nearly 40 years old, I'm 37 years old, they still don't really understand what I do, and that's fine. Like, I don't need them to tell me or any outside kind of whatever. Like, if you want to do it, you'll find a way of doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, Roo, that's exactly right. So that's where you started, Little Shop of Horrors. Then you moved on. You continued going. You got more obsessed. You figured out that you could sing. And by the way, I'm not just... Ian's an incredible singer. Or at least he was. He hasn't sang.
Yeah.
We met at Arts Ed, and we were both on the musical theatre course there. And the 3-year musical theatre course at Arts Ed, which is now a degree, you get a Bachelor of Arts in Musical Theatre, is, or it was at the time, I'm not sure if it still is, voted the number one training ground for musical theatre in the whole of Europe. I think it still is now. And that's testament to the school, because pretty much every single one of the graduates graduated with agents and went on to do a lot of stuff in the West End, as did Ian. Ian was in certain shows like Les Miserables on the West End and many others, which we'll talk about in a minute. But so you went from there, and then how did you audition for the National Youth?
Yeah.
So tell them about what that is.
So I then, because I didn't get any GCSEs, and I knew I wanted to maybe pursue it a bit further, I had to go to college. So I went to North Lindsay College, and I did a night course at the other college in dance. So I was literally the only guy, and there was about 15 girls. So again, mate, there's a common pattern. I've been married, I've been with my wife for 14 years, so I'm a very good boy.
But I'm single.
Yeah. But so I had to do a GMBQ first to get the equivalent of 4 GCSEs to then do a BTEC. Yeah. So I did a BTEC National Diploma, and I never forget, there was this kid there, I can't even remember his name, but everyone thought he was the best actor or whatever, and there was this poster in the hallway for the National Youth Theatre. I never heard of it, didn't have a clue what it was. And I remember saying, oh, that'd be cool to do something like that. It was in Leeds. Oh my God, Leeds is this amazing city.
Yeah.
I'm from Scunthorpe. Like, my God, Leeds is like, wow, a million miles.
Good.
Can I swear, by the way? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Leeds is like a fucking million miles away to me, even though it's literally like 10 minutes up the road. And I never forget, he went, oh, you shouldn't audition for that. You're never going to get... So straight with... Back then I guess I'm super competitive now, but like, I never forget that. And at the time, my girlfriend... Fiona Hook, maybe she's watching. I hope she's well. She lives in London, actually. But we both auditioned together in Leeds, and unfortunately she didn't get in, but I did. So suddenly, I've got a place at the National Youth Theatre,
and it's a really freaking tough place to get into at a young age as well, and it's very, very prestigious. Rick, we're no different to you, buddy.
No,
not
mate,
at all.
not at all.
Not at all. We are the most working class, ordinary, normal lads on earth.
Yeah.
The only difference I can think of between us and you is we found our passion earlier, and we worked day and night at it, and we still are. We're still hustling. We're still working our fingers to the bone for something that we love. So don't dream about having a life like us. Just go out and do it. That's why we're here talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Rick, you can do it. I'm telling you, if a dummy like me can do it, anybody can do it. All right, Sam. Evening, Uncle Finch.
Hey, Sam. Hey.
It's Freya.
Oh, hey, Freya.
Hey, Freya.
No, but like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, we'll talk about all the cool things that seem to be happening. But I promise you, I want to talk about the negative stuff and all the kind of crap that goes on in my head. So don't let me fool you and think that I've got my shit together. There's stuff I'm constantly striving to achieve, and I fail a lot. So I want to share that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sean Glynn,
Hey,
Sean Glynn, one of my old directors. Congratulations, mate. Sean has just he's directing a brand new Netflix show called Sean, what's it called? London Kills. So everybody get ready for that. Sean will be coming on this show very, very soon to talk about that. So cheers for watching, Sean, and congratulations. Sorry, mate.
No worries. So yes, I did the National Youth Theatre, and that was my first trip to London. And obviously, what an experience that was, Like, I mean, oh man, that was profound. And I did that and I think, you know what maybe got me in, and I was completely naive to the business. I didn't really understand it. I was just this raw kid that was literally from, I think Stephen mentioned, like this, council estate up north. I had no fear. I didn't know the industry. I didn't know anything. So I just went for it. Do you know what I mean? Nothing kind of knocked me back.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've definitely had to work on, because you can lose that. Life can kick you down, right?
Yeah.
So that really helped me when I was younger. And then, so how I got into arts ed? Do you want to know kind of?
Yeah. But before we go on to that, I want you to talk about a little bit about, school, where the stuff that you had to, like uniforms and things. If you want to touch on
no
that.
worries.
Just, we're talking about struggles, guys, and going from one extreme situation to something freaking nuts. Or question, how do you actually manage work-life balance? This is a good question, actually. Having kids is a massive job, and running several businesses is incredible. How do you do it all at once? Great question.
Great question. One thing is I delegate. I think one of my main skills in life is I think I'm very good at getting around very smart people, and I don't mind being the dumbest in the room. So it's not just me. I have a team. I have business partners, teammates that there's no way I can do all this on my own. So one thing is delegation, but it is a constant battle, because like Stephen said, I am a father, I am a husband, and by far that is the most important thing to me. And I want to make sure that I don't fail at that. Otherwise, what is the point, right? So that's something I do strive on. So I do have to find time sometimes to switch off the phone and just block out time to be a husband and father. But it's a very good question. It's something I'm still trying to work on. But it's tough, man.
But let's talk about, because obviously arts ed, guys, and any school in London is a fortune to get into. It's so expensive to live in London. Especially when you come from Middlesbrough, and you used to be able to get sausage rolls for 50p. And I remember when I first came, before I was a vegan, when I first came up to London, and I went to get a sausage roll, and it was about £2. I nearly had a heart attack. I was like, what the? I'm so poor. So I want to talk about like the struggles of like literally having no money whatsoever growing up. How did you survive, and how did you and then talk about the journey into arts ed and further forward, because some of the stuff you had to do to survive is insane.
Okay, so I mean, we obviously spoke about this briefly beforehand, but there's no and I'm very open about it. Like, I did have quite a turbulent upbringing, and I think my parents would admit that or whatever. It was very, very hard. Like I went to multiple schools. I had a lot of hardship growing up. I had to mature very quickly. So one thing is, it was all I ever knew. You know what I mean? So we never went on holiday, never went abroad, never did anything, never had any. I was on free school meals my whole, whatever. And again, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
It was very tough. I'm not going to lie, but I just had a resilience. I figured it out. But I don't know. Like you make it work, right? Like if I know it sounds weird, but in a way, I'm kind of grateful for that, because I had no kind of fallback. I had no other second option. Like I couldn't run home to mum and dad. I had to work. So if I was at Arts Ed, I had a job. I had multiple jobs.
You had, yeah.
I had to, but that work ethic was instilled in me like from day zero, because otherwise I didn't eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I literally had to just get on with it.
Yeah. When I first met Ian, I was going into first year. I said I'd probably been at the school a week, and Ian was in his final year. Like I said, guys, it's never too late to get cracking. So even though I'm older than Ian, when Ian was in his final year at drama college, I'd just started, and Ian was living on the floor. You don't mind me saying?
Oh
this,
yeah, go for it.
He was living on the floor of another couple of Arts Ed students on the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
And
no, it was the hallway.
Was it even worse?
I wasn't that bad.
So he's living, and he's like, "Oh, why don't you come round mine for a bit?" So I went round, and there's this like mattress in the hallway, and I went, "Who's it, Sam?" He went, "Oh, that's mine."
Yeah.
That
was my bedroom.
Nick's downstairs. Downstairs.
Okay.
Nice one, Nick. That's a neighbour downstairs.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
Yeah.
So on a night when Ian's asleep, if anyone wanted to get to the kitchen from the bedroom, they'd have to step over him.
Yeah. So you got no excuse, guys.
Yeah, they'd have to step over him to get to the kitchen. So it's nuts. So we met at Arts Ed, and I can remember meeting this guy, and first of all, I don't want to embarrass you.
No,
but
I don't care.
It was watching one of the performance classes, watching Ian's every Friday. The third years had to. You finished school early on a Friday, college. You finished at 5 o'clock, and we all went to the main auditorium where our school theatre was. And the rest of the college would sit in the auditorium, and a handful of third years that Friday were picked to sing in performance class. And I can remember Ian getting up and singing, and I think you sang Breeze Off the River. It was either, like, there was a few songs you sang that blew me away, but I think it was Breeze Off the River, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy is freaking good. And then we ended up like being flatmates, and the rest is history. But talk about your love of, because we both start with a love of musical theatre, and still love musical theatre. It's matured into acting, and just the amount of jobs you had to have through Arts Ed, and then your first professional job.
Yeah, so I think I kind of touched upon it at the beginning. Like when I get into something, I get really obsessed by it, and it becomes like I really immerse myself in that world. So when I found kind of musicals, I kind of really got into it in a big way. And when I started acting, and when I wanted to move to London, I kind of assumed that you kind of had to do everything. So you had to be able to be really good at singing, really good at acting, really good at dancing. Maybe not so much. Maybe I was a bit kind of
we just didn't know.
Yeah, you just didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know any different. I literally, you know how I heard about Arts Ed? Someone gave me a Starlight Express CD, and it had the actors in it who were on the CD, and the lead went to Arts Ed, so I literally went, right, well, I'll audition for that school then. And, touch I got a scholarship. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have never have gone to London or anything. So I didn't have a clue.
That's it, guys. So never be put off by it. If something's really expensive to do, there's
just
ways around it. There's ways around it. Never be put off by that, because if that was the case, neither one of us would have got into that drama college at all, simply because we wouldn't have been able to afford to go. But if you work your butt off, you get scholarships. So they give away scholarships to the ones most worthy of them, I guess, the ones who do have the best auditions, and not just that, the ones who need the
I mean, look, I
most.
needed it. Like, I literally had we didn't have any money, so like, there was no way I could afford those fees. I mean, that was like 18 years ago or whatever. God knows what it is now. But no, just go for it, you know. Like it's going to be cheesy, but let your talent kind of shine.
Yeah.
And there's always a way. There's always a way, you know.
Yeah.
No, thanks for the kind words about singing and stuff. I hadn't sang in
mate.
years, but so no, I went to Art Ed and had multiple jobs to kind of survive. And I've never lost that mindset, you know. Like I've just, you know, it's hard work, right? It's just like you just
hard work
beats
beats talent, without a shadow of a doubt. Hard work beats talent. Do I sing? I can sing in tune, but I'm not great. I never was. I never was a good singer. I did a couple of musicals straight out of drama college, but again, it's about being realistic about your abilities and where you can take those abilities, and also what really makes your heart sing. And for me, it was a massive achievement being able to get into a musical. It's something that I never thought I'd be able to do, whereas acting, that was always a realistic goal for me. It was like, I can do that, but can I sing and dance? That's a challenge. I don't think I can do that. So I'm all right. I can hold a tune. Sometimes I sound crap. Sometimes I sound all right. But I haven't sang for ages. So there you go. But Ian was like a singer, you know. And again, because Ian's passion is acting, he moved on to that. But we'll talk about your first few jobs graduating from Arts Ed. So what happened? You got like the pick of your agents in your final
I was very
year?
lucky. I think I had, I can't even remember who they were, but I had about 17, 20 agents or whatever that were interested in me. And what made me decide to go with the agent was the year above me, I was like, well, who's the best performers in that year, and who did they go with? And they both, in my opinion, the two best performers went with a particular agent. So and I was very fortunate that I got offered representation by that agency, and I went for it. But I think Steve we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly, although I did do some musicals. That was never really my passion. I had again, and I think we should talk about your why and what really gets you going and what. Yeah. And I think for me
so
as a kid,
important.
I think
so important.
Like, why do we actually really do what we do? I think and that took me a while to figure out, but.
That's going to be really cool, guys. So make sure you share this with everyone. We've got like 30 minutes of the show left. Hey, Manny, all the way from LA. Miss you, bro. Yes, guys. So get people on your why is important. Talk about it. Explain to them what you mean by that.
So basically, in a nutshell, and it took me years to figure this out, but like as a kid, we touched upon it. It was quite a tough upbringing. But the only thing that I really had that passion-wise was movies. Like I can't emphasize that enough. Like I would watch maybe 2 or 3 movies a night. I was obsessed, with films and cinema, and we had a little local cinema that I used to go to religiously. And that was my world. That was my escapism. That was my, that was, like I said, never been on a plane, never had a passport, never did anything like that.
How old were you when you first got a passport? You were in your 20s?
My 20s, 23, 24.
You're 24.
Something like that, yeah.
I remember, because I remember him coming back going, I've got my first passport, Steve. I was like that.
Crazy, huh?
Nuts, man. 24 years old, and now you're pretty much been all over the world, right?
Yeah. Very
That's
lucky.
it. Keep believing, so keep going.
Yeah. So basically, so that was my thing. And now, I'm very fortunate to be doing something that I love for a living and my career. What I want to do now is I want to continue that. So I want to keep creating stuff and then give that, release that back into the world. So that kid in Scunthorpe or Middlesbrough or wherever, that, the odds are really stacked against them for whatever reason, that they can be inspired and they can see like, well, this guy or whatever, something moves them into kind of wanting to pursue their dreams. And if it's film or documentary or football, whatever, do you know what I mean? I just want to continue that because trust me, there are days, when I'm overwhelmed, I'm burnt out, I'm like, what is the point? Do you know what I mean? But I have to go back to why I do what I do. It gives me that extra kick, that kick up the ass to go, right, get on it again, go again. Because I promise you guys, I am rejected. Like I'm constantly pitching and whatnot. Every single day, someone's saying no to me, and you're not good enough, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And that I don't think that will ever go away, right? Because you're always trying to do something. You're always trying to go to that next step and the next step and the next step. So that's why I kind of do what I do. What does that say? You've changed my life, Stephen. That's very sweet.
Thanks, Rick, but you're doing it. I want you to do it for yourself as well. So when you're doing this, when you're watching this, get out and do something. James asked a question earlier.
Yeah.
He asked, this was to both of us.
Yeah.
We're both avid readers. Which book has influenced you the most to this point, and why? For me, I'm going to hash the title up. It was When I Stopped Talking, You Know I'm Dead. Is that the right title?
Jerry Weintraub.
Jerry Weintraub. And that was the most influential because it was just an epic, it was an autobiography of a prolific music producer. He did everything.
Movies, Karate Kid, everything.
Movies, produced a Karate Kid, represented Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
The man was unbelievable. But what struck me in that was, and what made me realise that I needed to up my game, and that everything that I was going through at the time, because I thought I'd hit rock bottom, and we're going to talk about rock bottom too, because it is important to go there, because until you hit rock bottom, you can't build and grow. You've got to have the bravery to hit rock bottom, man. And you might hit it more than once, but once you've hit it once, it never feels as bad the second time round, and you'll probably hit it 2 or 3 times in your lifetime and bounce up. That book was just unbelievable because here's this guy who would never ever give up. He pestered Elvis Presley's manager religiously and consistently over the period of 18 months. Every single day he rang him like, please let me do a concert, take him on tour. And this is what was the most impressive and made me go, man, I need to up my game. He was 26 years old. 26 years old, and he had that passion, that tenacity, that relentlessness to get freaking kicked in the teeth every single day. You always, Emma, it's your birthday tomorrow, no rock bottom. If you think like that, your thoughts become things, Emma, remember. So if you think that, that's what's always going to happen. Think, I'm going to grow and learn from this, and it's going to make me stronger. You know, the rock bottom's there for a reason. So that was my book. What's your book?
I don't know if there's like one book, but I'm trying to think what kind of got me started with reading was I was very lucky that you know friends like Stephen and you know other friends that kind of recommended, you know, because my rock bottom, I've been there multiple times. I'm sure I'll be there again, but you always you stay there for a little bit, and then you get out of it. But I think it was the Tony Robbins book, Awaken the Giant Within. I think it was that kind of got me started. I can't remember how I got it, who gave it to me. And then it's like anything, kind of success leaves clues. So like once you start going down that path of kind of self-education and learning and development and stuff, you start to pick up things, kind of like constant patterns. Like I say, success leaves clues, and you go, right, well, it worked for them. So maybe if I try and apply that into my life, or some way that I can try and apply that into my life. It could be anything, like just simple things like making your bed, you know what I mean, because it just makes you feel better that you do that. It could be little things, and another thing is, it doesn't matter if you're 26, 50, 60, 15, whatever, like there's never, you're never too late, you know what I mean. You can be like, was it Colonel Sanders, the guy at KFC, he was like 70 when he founded KFC or whatever,
62.
Something daft like that, so like there's never, don't worry if you're like in your 30s or 40s or 50s. You've got loads of time left, and you know there's, you know, we're living way longer now, and we're going to probably live a lot longer, so I wouldn't worry about that.
But even if you didn't, let's say, well, what's the alternative? You're just going to sit there and feel awful all day, every day, because you're a certain age and you think, oh, it's too late for me. It's not.
Too late,
It's never too late. Like Jerry Weintraub said, I recommend that book. Get out there and read it. Even if you're not in the industry, you don't have to be in it. It's about life in general. When I stop talking, you'll know I'm dead. And that's so true for me too. When I stop talking, you know I'm dead. But Ian, we touched lightly on rock bottom, because I want people, and keep sharing this, guys. We want as many people to listen to this message as possible, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Rock bottom's important, so people will be watching this and going, oh man, he's done this, he's here, he's there. So they think, oh, life is all roses and just we wake up out of bed and things are given to you. Not the case. So you came out of drama college and you hit the ground running. You did a brilliant play called Dead Fish. Then you went into one of the biggest musicals in the world, on one of the biggest stages in the world, in the West End, Les Mis. And then all of a sudden you were like, I don't want to do this no more. And then when you went to go for your dream, pursue the acting, everything just died. And you went through that period of nothingness. Talk about that and how you came out of that into doing your first play and all that.
No worries. So so my acting career is it went like this and it went like this, and it was there for a long time, and I'm not out of it by any means. But for me, like Stephen said, I did some musicals and stuff, and I was getting a lot of opportunities in that world, but it just didn't make me happy. I wasn't feeling fulfilled, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I think I touched on it. Cinema was my thing, and that's what I wanted to do. And if I wasn't doing that, I wasn't particularly happy. But it wasn't working out for me. I was getting no auditions. Like, nobody wanted to see me. So
that's
it
normal.
Was and we're talking years, guys. Like, trust me, it was a long time.
How many years?
Oh, several years, like 2 to 3. I would go years without getting like a single casting, which is nuts considering like there was so many things happening for me. But like, it was just. But I didn't mind it. Like, in a way, it was like it was adapt or die, right? So I had 2 options. I had to quit. Actually 3, or go back to what I was doing, which didn't make me happy at all. And I don't mean to sound spoiled or privileged. I didn't enjoy that as much as
It just became a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
right?
It became a 9 to 5. So I think we'll touch on it. Like I remember I did a class. And I accidentally picked it because it was every Sunday at the Actors Centre. So it was a class on like, I thought it was an acting class, but it actually wasn't. It was a career development class, more kind of the business side of the acting world or whatever. And I remember the first day, it was like, the teacher was Ricky B. Blair. Actually made his first movie, produced his first movie. And he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, I just, like most actors, so I just want to act. What a load of bollocks. Like, I just want to act. And he said, well, just make something then. Put something on. And literally, so we're talking maybe 5-6 years out of drama school. I can't explain it. Just something made me go, ding, like, that's it. Like,
Isn't that insane? That one little moment, guys, by putting himself out there, going to a class, and for someone to go, what do you want to do? I want to act. Then make something. Then act.
Then do something. And then if you think about it, when I look at some of the actors that I really grew up aspired to be like, similar to Stephen, the Stallones of this world and whatever, you can actually see that there's, again, I told you about success leaves clues, right? A lot of these guys that I aspire to be like, a lot of them, they actually created their own opportunities, and we know this, right, with Rocky and whatnot. I mean, that's quite common actually. So. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know any writers or anyone, and I said, well, look, do you have a script? Because I thought, well, I'd saved up a little bit at the time. I was personal training to kind of make ends meet, and as an artwork actor. And he said, well, actually, I've got this movie script, but you could turn it into a play. So I said, oh, I'll give that a go. And I raised the finance, I put on the play, and then at the time, again, I'm super lucky. My very first client, who's become a bit of a mentor to me, he said, if you ever do consider making the film of it, let me know and I might put a little bit of money into it. And I was like, I remember he was on the treadmill saying this to me. I was like, oh, okay, well, no, I mean, I'd love to make movies. I mean, I didn't have a freaking clue about it. I didn't even know what a producer did. Even though I'm an actor, I didn't have a clue. And then he took me for a coffee and said, okay, I might give you some, a little bit of money. He's done very well, but you have to put money into it, skin in the game. And thankfully at the time, me and my wife were saved up a little bit. We were thinking about moving to America for a while. We had O1 visas, so we could live there for 3 years, which we never actually did and we never used. So I had a little bit of money, so I was like, okay, this is an opportunity. This is something I've got to go for. And I literally put the money in, and he put the money in, and someone else gave us a little bit of money, and we made a super low budget movie
called
Kickoff, which was the play.
Is it? And can people watch it?
Anywhere? Yeah, you can buy. I mean, it's on Amazon, and I think it's around there. It's not on Netflix, I don't think, but it's actually up for grabs. It'll be up for grabs again soon. So
right, okay.
But that was a super low budget movie. It was pretty much in one location, and that was my baptism of fire. And the film did, for the size of the movie, it did really well, and it went to like 30 film festivals. It made some money, it sold everywhere in the world, and suddenly overnight I was a film producer. Like again on set, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was also acting in it. I was one of the leads. I think I was the lead in it.
Yeah.
Again, to kind of give myself some opportunities. And then, like I was, and then once you do something like that, then again, you kind of got to run with it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've had that with Abe now, haven't you? Like, once you've done something and you've seen, wow, an idea, and then suddenly it's in the cinemas, like, I mean, or in a festival, and you've seen the impact that, again, going back to your why of what that film, I still get letters now or notes on Facebook randomly of people all over the world go, oh, thank you for that film. It's helped me in some way. And I mean, that's just crazy, right? I mean, that's amazing. So that's how my producing career then started to kick in. And then I just ran with that as well as the acting. But my kind of acting kind of, like I say, went like that. And my producing kind of started to go like this and this and this. And thankfully, it's gone off. But, I'm still going, only recently I've started to go back into the acting again. I'll never leave that. Like, I love that. That's definitely, a love for me. But at the same time, it's not my only thing now.
Yeah.
There's multiple things that I've got going on that are somehow correlated.
They're all intertwined, though. They're all linked
they're all,
to the same thing.
Yeah,
Thanks, Emma. So they're all linked to the same thing.
Oh,
So this is what we mean, guys, by one little Ian hit a brick wall, like we all do, and he had choices: quit or evolve and figure it out.
On that, so basically, I, at the time I was working for a company called Zipcar, which I think Stephen did for a while.
Yeah, I did
and I never
too.
forget.
Sorry, guys.
Oh no, I'm sure there's people watching, and I love I have friends that probably still work for him, so that's fair play. But I remember. It was absolutely pissing it down in London. It was like, I used to hand out leaflets outside tube stations and just get abused constantly. But we had these ridiculous bikes with these big banners on the back of it, and we had to freaking cycle them all around. They kept on breaking, and I just felt like an idiot. Like, what am I doing with my life? And I was absolutely soaked. And I'll never forget. I went home, and I just cried my eyes out. I literally, my wife, girlfriend at the time, I said, "What am I doing? Like, this isn't what I wanted to do in life." And I was in tears. I was bawling my eyes out. I was just so upset. Like, I spent years of my life, like trying to achieve something and just like failing miserably. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, what is the point? And again, I was there for a while, and I was like, something has to change. I have to do something, and that's how I said, well, I'm going to do a course, something where I can still act. I can still do something that makes me feel a little bit happy. And it was that course at the Actors Centre. Which again, I thought it was an acting class, and it wasn't. It was a business class that just, in a way, it changed my life.
Changed the course of your
life.
life.
I wasn't expecting that. Like, I literally, so I've got a lot to be grateful for.
Well, what's Einstein's definition of insanity? What is that?
You keep doing the same thing
and expecting it.
Except
so
the same results, but like.
So Einstein's definition of insanity, guys, is doing the same thing every single day and expecting a different result. Now, Ian had a choice. He could have kept peddling that zip car, handing out those flyers, crying every time he went home, feeling miserable, feeling sorry for himself, feeling like the world owes him a favour, like he's entitled to some kind of... Or he could get off his butt, stop feeling sorry for himself, take some action and get some work done. We live in a sense of entitlement at the moment, guys, and it's not going to come to us. It's hard work. Getting smashed in the face time and time again and getting back up and going after it. And that's exactly what Ian did. It's what I'm doing, and it's what we continue to do. Sometimes, guys, life is going to hit you in the head with a brick. You gotta get up and keep going. And that's it. This is what's great about this. So that's how the producing stuff
kind of
started and kicked off. But it's literally changed everything, right? You go to Cannes Film Festival all the time. You're flying all over the world. I mean, you've just been to... Where have you been today?
I was at Universal today, so
Tell them about that.
No, so obviously, I didn't quit, and I've been in the game for a while now, and thankfully, I've created some kind of track record, and I'm not seen as so much as a risk anymore in the producing world, because obviously movies are very expensive to make. Even low budget films are still can be hundreds of thousands or whatever. So I'm grateful now. I get to go to these kind of incredible companies and buildings and people take my Not all the time, not all the time, trust me. Like I said, I get rejected a lot, but like a lot of times I can get in the door now. So yeah, I was at Universal today, and you know, we're interested in working together on certain projects, and you know, I'm very grateful for that. So yeah.
Okay, what was the worst moment in your life, and how did you get out of it?
Okay, what was my worst moment in my life? Oh God, I don't know. I mean, like, look, I think I touched on it with my family, and my mum was quite poorly, and I had to kind of, it was down to me to kind of deal with it really and make sure that she was okay. That was challenging, man, because you know, there's a lot of mental health in my family, in family history, so I had to really tackle with that. That was one of the only times I felt lost, really, because it was kind of out of my control, but I was still responsible. So that was something, and that wasn't that long ago, actually, that I had to really deal with that. So that, I mean, there's been countless times where, like I say, where you feel like a failure, you feel like things aren't working. But that's fine. Like, I've come to terms with that now. So when those moments do kick in, and they do come in every now and again, I kind of dwell on it for a little bit, like, because I know now I've kind of educated myself enough, and I've been there enough to go, right, this is normal, this is a process, I have to stick with it for a while, I have to kind of sit with it, and then get out of it, do you know what I mean? And I know when I start to go down that road, it's because I know I'm not being productive enough, I'm kind of being a bit lazy, or I'm not doing the stuff I should be doing, so then it's a cycle, right? You kind of feel guilty, and you feel bad, and you kind of fall down that kind of spiral. But there's been a few times, like, it's been really tough, man. Like, I'm not gonna, but again, I'm very lucky. I've got friends that have been through stuff as well, that we can help each other. I've got a beautiful wife, that we've been through stuff, and she's had hardship,
You need a community, guys. You need a strong team, and just always remember, the reason why we share our bad times so much is not to get on a negative. It's to show you that if you're trying to achieve anything in life, you're going to go through bad times. It is a part of the process. There's no getting around that. There's no getting around it. But just remember, the bad times haven't come to stay. They've come to pass.
I mean, I remember going back to the acting stuff. So I produced a film called Pleasure Island, which was something that it was a story that I kind of created very loosely based on my kind of background, and I was the lead in it again, and actually me and my wife, we fully financed it, so you're talking a serious amount of money, and the film just, sadly, I mean, I'm very proud of the film and everyone that works in it, but the film didn't do well, and I lost all my money on that film, and again, it was our own, and the film came out, and I was getting I got panned, terrible reviews, you know what I mean? So, and that was tough to take, but I can't remember who told me this, but someone said once that if you're not putting yourself out there and you're not getting shot at, then you're not trying hard enough. Do you know what I mean? So I took solace in that, because literally everyone was like, "Oh man, that was a tough one to take." But then on the flip side, and I think there's a video a few years ago that we did in LA. If I hadn't done that film, I wouldn't have got the funding from my third film, which then did well, and that again, that gave me then the track record in the film world to kind of then do multiple films and finance films and stuff like that. So again, that was a really tough pill to take. You put your heart and soul into something for everyone, because you put it out into the world, and everyone just goes, "That didn't work." You know what I mean? That was really, really tough. But yeah, you get out of it, and you carry on. You just keep going, right? You just keep going.
So what is next for you personally and your empire?
Oh, so like I said, I've got multiple things going on at the moment. Everything kind of takes a certain amount of time, but my real focus is obviously, like I mentioned about the acting, I'm focused on that a lot more now. But is obviously it's producing movies, right? It's producing films, it's financing lots of films. We're in a position now where we have banks want to talk to us now and stuff. So we have lovely facilities that we can use to put more money into more films, and which is great, and that gives opportunities to a lot of new filmmakers, which is amazing. We're producing kind of bigger movies now, but I always wanted, as a film producer, I want to make global movies. So that's what I was talking with Universal today. Is I don't just want to make British UK centric, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I want to move as many people or inspire whatever the world. You know what I mean? So stories are, you know, obviously universal. So that's really important to me. So I'm building my company's building a slate of projects that, you know, I hope have a commercial appeal. So that's a real focus, and we're very close to kind of getting real development now with some of them. So I'm very excited about them, and potentially if any one of them goes, and that could be a game changer. It could absolutely fail in its arse, but at least it's something, you know, it's my way, right? You know, I want to do that. So that's the focus company wise. And yeah, just keep going, you know, just keep gradually building and building and just, you know, setting goals every year and then trying to top that and move upwards.
You gotta have goals, right? You gotta be specific with your goals, and you've got to set them. Otherwise, you just go and you're waking up and you're doing this.
Yeah, you need to have some kind of plan, right? I mean, not that I'm very much like by this day and I'm not, you know, it's not maybe that kind of regimented, but we do have like you know, we do have a strategy meetings, and we do have kind of targets that we need to hit as a company, and you can see, you know, with the revenue, the money that you're bringing into the business, and the money that you're putting out, you know, so, you know, there's tangible things there that you can kind of cling on to and hope that next year you get better and better. You know, and that's another thing that I had to learn was patience, because I'm a very impatient person, like, you know, so that was something, because it takes time, you know, if you want to build something, you know, it's going to take a long time, and, you know, be prepared for that, and accept that, and appreciate the journey that you're on. You know what I mean? It's not just about the end destination. So, you know, enjoy what you're doing. So,
well, how long have you been in the game now?
Well, I mean, I graduated in 2003, so that's 15 years. But,
15 years as a pro, but like,
I mean,
go back to
when I first started, you know, you're talking I was 14, so what's that, 24 years? So 24 years.
24 years in the game, guys, to get to where he is.
And I'm still
now.
banging on the door. Like, I promise you, I'm getting rejected a lot.
Yeah.
So like, it's part of the process. But like, again, you know, I feel glad that I've got something else, you know, that I can, you know, rely on, not just like,
you've taken control, mate, in what is
ownership.
Ownership of your life. You know, people, you go through phase, guys, and we all go through it, where you feel entitled, you feel like the world owes you a favour, and the truth is, the harsh reality is, it owes you nought.
It doesn't.
It owes you absolutely nothing. You owe you a favour. You owe you a favour. The world doesn't. You know, I went through all that 6 years, no auditions, feeling sorry for myself. It got me nowhere. Hello, Kimberly. What got me somewhere was where I took complete ownership, and I went, if I want to act, I must do the work. The end. I made no excuses, because at the end of the day, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. And every single day it's the same. If things aren't going my way, it's my fault. It's nobody else's fault, my fault. And that is the best, for me, the best way to live, because by taking complete ownership, you're in complete control. You're not blaming anyone else. You're taking control, and you'll do something about it. You will do something about it. So, Ian, right, if you know what you know now, being where you are now, give 15-year-old Ian Sharp comes up to you and goes, hello, Mr. Sharp, I love your production company, it's amazing what you're doing. How do I do what you do? What 3 pieces of advice can you give me? So give that 15-year-old boy who knows nothing 3 pieces of advice.
So one thing is which was a game changer for me, was find, if you can, easier said than done, but again, it's doable, it's find a mentor. So someone that's actually done it. So someone that's maybe 10, 15 years ahead, like Stephen mentioned. So that's really important if you can, because, you know, they've been there, and they're still going through that, and they've learned so much. And a lot of really amazing people in this world, they want to give back, you know, like, and because they've been in, you know, I'm fortunate to have a few mentors that, you know, unbelievably successful, and, you know, they really don't have to give me the time of day, but they do, and they meet me for coffee every now and again, or I know they're on a phone, and sometimes it's just a phone call, you know.
And what did we say earlier though about that? Great people pull other people up. Insecure people drag other people down. So when you're looking for mentors, guys, the great ones will be like, that's it.
So that's really important. I think be patient. Like if I'm talking to myself, like I had these silly kind of like, if I'm not in a big Hollywood movie by the time I'm 21 or 22, whatever, like I failed and all that bullshit. Like, so just be patient. Like it will happen.
That's a big one.
And or being financially secure or whatever. Like it will be by the time I'm 25, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire.
Okay, so far we've got number 1, find a mentor or multiple mentors. It doesn't have to be one.
And that could be books, guys. That doesn't have to be in
physical
person,
people. Books. Look, you can see them on my shelf. And number 2 was be patient. That cliche, cheesy saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a cliche for a reason, guys. It's true. 25 years in the game. So 1 is find mentors, books, people, whatever. 2, be patient. Number 3,
work your ass off.
Yeah! That's the one I was hoping for.
Man,
That's the one I wanted to hear. Hard work beats talent. That is the bottom line, guys. Ordinary people only achieve extraordinary things by working harder than anybody else. Be the hardest worker in the room. That's what you got to be. See you later, Paul. We've got a couple more minutes, guys. So just before we say night, if anyone else has got questions, please fire them away. In the show notes here, in the description, Ian's Instagram handle's on there. So if you want to follow Ian on Instagram and ask him any questions about anything.
Yeah, this will be a continuous chat, right? So don't let this be like just for now. Like I promise you, one of the things that I want to do is I told you my why, right, was to actually help the next generation. So whoever you are, this is just the beginning.
So get in touch, follow Ian on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook too and Twitter, but I only put his Instagram handle on here for some reason. So
no worries.
There's him on.
Who's that? Oh, right.
So yeah, guys, please subscribe to the Call Kia Life YouTube channel, where you'll be able to rewatch this episode number 11. I've got some crazy amazing guests coming up for you in the future. And we were asked if we'd sing Cornerstone of All Success, Hard Work. Yes, that's my old coach, Stevie Brunskill. Nice. Cheers, Stevie. So yeah, please like, share and subscribe. Share this with as many people as you can. We're still hitting like the 1,500 views. We want to break the 2,000 viewers mold. I can only do that with your help. Get on that YouTube channel, drive people to that, and we'll keep this show going. And if you do that for me, I'll promise you, and I've said it now, so I'm going to have to do it. In 6 months' time, I will sing live on this show.
Oh, mate.
I've said it now, so I'm going to have to do it. In 6 months' time, even though I've told you guys I ain't that great, I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll sing a song live on this show.
Yeah.
But only if I've got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So it's up to you guys to get that stuff done. We've got a couple of minutes, guys, so I just want to say thank you so much, Ian, for coming on the show. We're helping so many people there who just think that they can't do anything unless they've got like billions in the bank. No, it comes from hard work, guys, hard work. Look out for Ian's latest films. Obviously, you can watch The Marker on Netflix, Kickoff on Amazon. Amazing documentary, Westwood, about Vivienne Westwood is out. It's out now, right?
Yeah, I think you can get it on DVD now,
And A Northern Soul, that's coming out soon.
It's in the cinemas now.
A Northern Soul is in the cinemas right now, nationwide.
I think so, yeah. It should be,
And that's another documentary,
right? Yeah, that's
right?
a documentary, yeah.
So guys, get out there and do me one. Oh, quick!
Who's your favourite actor and why?
There you go.
I have so many. Like, I don't just have one. I mean, there's guys that I lean to more. So the obvious ones are like, I'm a big fan of Daniel Craig. I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy, Tom Cruise, those kind of guys. Like we all do. But anyone who's had a career in this game, I take my hat off to you.
Yeah. There you go. So there's the answer to that question. So guys, it is 10 o'clock. We're going to sign out. Please like, share and subscribe. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Don't just be a watcher though, guys. You find one nugget of information that resonated with you from tonight's show. Write it down.
Yeah, do you
Get
have
up
one
tomorrow.
thing? Yeah, one thing. Like
Yeah.
anyone, can they say now? Can you go like if you had? Do you have one takeaway? Or don't worry if you don't want to say it now, but like
but just
take action.
Take action. So tomorrow, do something. Good night. God bless. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh yeah. No worries. Thank you.
No worries, Rick. Good night. God bless. Good night, Emma. Have a great
Thank you,
birthday
thank
tomorrow. Good night, guys.
You go.